So, hello, buddy. Welcome back to another episode. I'm back with Satvik today. So, Satvik is the founder of HomelyFit and an ex-founder of Habit. So, thank you very, very much for being here. Really glad to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lakshit, for having me. It would be it would be a really good experience for me also to be on this podcast. So yeah,
My pleasure.
thank you
My
for
pleasure.
asking.
My pleasure. Yeah. So, before we get into any conversation, Satvik, it would be great if you could introduce yourself, take us through your work process, what you do, how did you start your startup, and what were you doing before that?
Okay, sure. So I have been living for almost like 18 years in Tirupati. It's a town in Andhra Pradesh. So I have lived there. I did my up to my 12th class there itself. And after that, I wanted to get into a non-technical field, probably into business, because I've already always liked the concept of business, and I feel that getting into a really good business would structure my life properly. So choose to do BBA in Christ University, Bangalore. So I did my BBA honors in Christ for Bangalore for 3 years, and while I was in college itself, I wanted to start a company because I could hear like startups and that ecosystem of Bangalore made me start something new. So
Yeah.
we got into like college merchandising. We tied up with other colleges and we started printing the alma mater hoodies that you normally see,
Mhm.
and we started doing that, and we started printing posters. Like at that point of time, the English web series were getting on a hold. Like people started watching Game of Thrones, Suits, and Friends, How I Met Your Mother. So the poster culture was just bringing up. So we immediately started printing posters, and we started selling it to other people. And then and there I could realize that if you can actually solve a really good idea, you do have a money minting solution with you. So the concept of startups was back then itself. So post that, I once I graduated, I joined Zomato as a marketing manager. It was good. I really liked food. Even now, I love food. So the concept of food was always I feel that the entire human race just exists for eating really good food, and I stand by my words. So that made me fall in love with Zomato. I worked for almost 15 months. Post that, I realized why should I work for someone else's dream? So I just dropped out of my job, and I really didn't have a plan of what to start. But I knew that I can I always wanted to start a restaurant or like a cloud kitchen kind of a space. So that's how it started, and I started Homely Fit then. So it was this is around 2.5 years back. I think so. Like Homely Fit's 2.5 years old right now, and we are really good. Like we have around 7 branches going on strong. We started getting into franchising,
Mhm.
and especially is the concept of Homely Fit is when you want to eat some healthy food, you don't have to eat bland. You can make it tasty, and you can actually lead a really good healthy lifestyle. And but when lockdown happened, obviously like every other business, we took a hit. It was pretty hard, and I had a lot of time for like almost 2 months. The business was entirely closed, and that's when I realized a new problem, and I started Habit along with two of my co-founders, and that's how it started. Like it went and recently we raised funds also for Habit, like around 3-4 months back. So yeah, both the startups are going really good, and even though I took a partial exit from Habit, I still have like my stake, and I go to the advisory meetings now and then. So yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, sounds wonderful. So, um, when you say you didn't want to work for somebody else's dream, and then you started your own startup. So, before that, how hard or how easy was for you to take that decision that I will quit at Zomato and start my own thing?
Oh, that was, I think so. That decision is just like falling off a cliff. Like you really don't know what's going to be the other side.
Yeah.
Because having I still say that like a month end, getting money credited into your account, having a salary, employed,
Yeah.
that's one of the, I would say it's a really good thing because you have safety, you have security, you have a lot of things in your basket, and you wouldn't actually dare to miss it. And it was pretty hard for me.
Mhm.
But the only one thing I really, the concept of entrepreneurship, what excited me was the time of trading your time. You're exactly trading 1 month of your time for that particular stipulated amount of money,
Mhm.
and you're valuing your time for that. That kind of like scared me a bit because you have like, even though how much ever you work, you have a threshold. You can't earn more than that because that's your CTC. You can't, like, you work 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week, 100 hours a week, you're gonna get the same salary.
Yeah.
So that kind of like scared me. So if you like, if I know that if I put an extra hour of money, like an extra hour of time today in Homely, I'll get that result by evening. I'll get that. I can see that something has progressed. I
Yeah.
can see it in terms of sales or brand equity or customers or feedback or restaurant ratings, something or the other. I can see some reciprocation, and that made me excited. Like, okay, yeah, if I put an extra hour of money variable here, then automatically I'll get that effort. So that kind of excited me entrepreneurship. But yeah, I still say that entrepreneurship is not for everyone. It excites. It sounds exciting. Like, oh fuck, we are doing things. Personally, I have interacted with almost like at least 500 to 600 entrepreneurs in the last like 1 2 years of journey, and I can see at least 400 of them just got in for the sake of it because it sounds really fancy. I'm
Yeah.
an entrepreneur. I'm doing something, but that's not the case. Like, you should really love the hustle behind it. You should not feel like if you're working for like 20 hours a day, you should not feel like you're working. For example, if I be in my kitchen for like 20 hours, I feel alive at the end of the day. I still feel like, okay, what's the next dish I'm cooking? When we're building habit, I used to talk to mentors almost 14 to 16 hours a day, just make calls, pitch about habit, get these mentors on board. At the end of the day, I was still having a lot of energy.
Mhm.
So that's when you realize that, like, you're supposed to be an entrepreneur, and the concept of money doesn't excite you anymore. Like, even if you're earning or not, if you are doing and actually solving a problem, you'll just be happy. And like, if you know that you are that kind of person, then no matter how much ever big of a job, even it can be CEO of Google or it can be CEO of an Apple, you will still not be happy because you're not building your dream, you're building someone else's. So
It's
yeah.
just, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, rightly said. I totally agree on that part with you. So what's the whole idea of homely fit? So is it just about food, or is there something else you're trying to do? Of course, you did
Okay.
say that you're trying to create a healthy food which is not bland, but what's something else than that?
Okay. So the end goal, you say that the objective of that thing is how you have seen, for example, like you have seen Cred, right? You would have
Yeah.
been following Cred,
Yes.
Kunal Shah startup. No one actually knew what the business is about until after 1.5 year of stealth mode they were in. It's basically something like a phone pay or a Amazon pay, like a wallet, but you're gonna build the coins through your system, and that's a crazy business model. The same way, Homely Fit, it is not what it was meant to be when it started. We're trying to create an FMCG brand.
Hmm.
So, for example, right now, if you someone says chocolates are good for you, probably no one would believe it. Cocoa powder is good for you because of the amount of sugar in it. You're not exactly liking it. So, to get a healthy FMCG brand, getting into people, the easiest way is starting off a cloud kitchen because people are going to order because it's a one-time thing. They're going to order and they have the registered Homely Fit. Right now, up to now, we have at least delivered 5 lakh plus meals across 4 cities. So we take it at least 5 lakh individual customers. So people who know us, the brand Homely Fit. So the next time when they go to a supermarket like Reliance or Home, More or Heritage, when they're walking by the shelf and they see a Homely Fit branded biscuits or atta flour or rice flour, they would actually go ahead and take it because, okay, they have the branding as Homely Fit as a healthy, conscious brand. So when they're making a home decision for their homely requirements, they're going to choose us as our instinct. So we are launching our own FMCG products by the end of 2022, this
Hmm.
year ending, next year ending.
Yeah.
So to build that, that's why we have gotten into this food industry. So by the month of August or by the next month, next year August, we should be in across all tier one cities. So we're gonna build our brand through healthy food, so people know us, and then we're gonna slowly enter into FMCG products. So that's the end goal of Homely Fit.
Hmm.
Like just like how you see Ashirwad Atta, I
Hmm.
want like a Homely Fit rice or Homely Fit chocolates or Homely Fit biscuits to be there out on the floor. So that's like the end goal. So to go ahead with it, I have to either pump in a lot of money for branding or spend money in this cloud kitchen so people would know what Homely Fit is about, and the customer addition would be much more easier once they enter. And who knows how the FMCG sector might unveil. Like, we can become a really good FMCG brand, or we can just like be one in the market. So it's fine. Like, I just want to like try it out in such a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. And I love the way you want to take the risk of, okay, we could be a big company, or maybe we'll just be one, like a normal one. Love your spirit, man. Wonderful. So so moving forward, I was just so um, the concept of cloud kitchen is known to a lot of people and is very new to a lot of people as well. So what is a cloud kitchen, if you could help us on that, and what do you do as Homely Fit? If you say you're trying to give be a franchisee model and all of different things, but how is Homely Fit uh, like how is Homely Fit working through an cloud kitchen
Yeah,
business?
got it. So one of the biggest thing in service industry or hotel industry that you'd say is more than the food that you serve, the hospitality that a customer deserves, it's highly important. You go to a restaurant or like a cafe, you expect everything to be served to your table, and you
Yeah.
expect great service, great hospitality, and that requires lot of checking over it. Like you need to operate it, and you need to like keep an eye on everything. So if you have to get into food industry, it's not like a rental or a real estate industry. Like you can't just invest 5 crores in a property and expect it to get back. Like how you can invest it in a flat, you can get rent otherwise. Like every month, and you're gonna get the rent from the people who are staying here. But in a restaurant or a hotel industry, keeping money is like the first job. But after that, you need to ensure any customer who have come to your cafe or a restaurant space leaves with a really good ambience or like a perspective, because restaurant is something where if they like it, they're going to tell to 10 people, but if they don't like it, they're going to tell to some 100 people that don't go there.
Yeah.
So you have to be extremely careful when you be physically present in a restaurant every point of time, because I was building a couple of other companies too.
Yeah.
So, and that was the reason I had to choose to get into something different. And the cloud kitchen excited me a bit, because you can be physically not present there and still do the operations, because only the delivery partners will be coming and collecting the food, and all your work can be done from any part of the world. For example, right now when I was building Homely Fit, I was also building Habit. So I was in couple of months, I was in Gurgaon, I was in Goa, I was in Bombay, I was in Delhi. So I was just traveling across and across, but I was still building Homely Fit right beside, because in a cloud kitchen, you have your manpower there, you have your resources, everything in an establishment. No customers are coming. So everything is digital.
Yeah.
So you can keep a track. You can keep a track of your orders, your order delivery time, how much time is the being food, like exactly from placing the order to the customer getting the order, how much time is it being taken, that particular pipeline, your revenue, your cost of operations, your margins, everything is online. There is no scope of margin for error. So that kind of like made me ease, because and that's the reason even within 2 years we could scale up to 7 branches.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so that's one of the easiest, because, and that's the reason that excited me as managing a cloud kitchen. And managing a cloud kitchen is much more easier than managing a restaurant, but at the same time you have many people in between, because you have to invest in your infrastructure, you have to invest in your delivery partners, you have
Labor.
to invest in a lot of softwares, because it's not like any other shop that you see outside, that any other restaurant. So you need to like little bit be smart about it, otherwise you're gonna lose a lot of money.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, totally, totally. So, what would be your advice to anybody who wishes to get into the business of food, or into healthy snacking, healthy foods, or into a business of health or anything as such? What would be your advice to them?
Okay. So right now you just mentioned three different target markets. Number one is like anyone who wants to enter into food industry. It's a very big triangle. Like you have like it's like very big. Like you have many aspects in food industry. So I would say that if someone loves the concept of food, or like whenever like eating food or like making food is their top priority, they are eligible to enter into food industry, because there is not that much money in food industry. People think there is money, but there is not that much money. You just have to come for the, because everyone once in a life they'll think that okay, they want to open a small cafe or a restaurant deep inside their heart. It's always there for almost like everyone I have met. They always say this to me. So it's easier to think, but when you get down to grassroots level, it's a very difficult industry, because first, out of 100 rupees, almost 30 to 40 goes for like your raw materials, or to your exact food cost. And almost 20 to 30% goes for your manpower and your operations and things. And there's only like 40% margin in food industry. And the moment you involve aggregators like Zomato, Swiggy and all, they take up almost 25 to 30. So you're left with 10-15%. So unless you really like cooking or the concept of serving or the concept of plating food industry, it's not so welcoming in nature. So that one thing is there. And healthy. So in food industry, niche to the niche is the healthy industry. Like out of 100 orders in a day, hardly 5 to 6 orders would be a healthy orders, because like around 80 people order biryani across South India. I don't know why it is obsession with biryani, but like 80 people, 80%. Around 10% go towards North Indian, 5% go towards continental Chinese, and the rest 5% are the one who go for like the healthy food or like healthy choices itself.
Yeah.
So your target market is very niche. Like big giants like Eat Fit, Cult Fit are itself they're facing trouble because they're not able to cater or exactly target market their audience. So it's going to be really difficult, but it's not going to be impossible. So you just need to be patient. You just need to put in the same consistent effort every day in the morning. Like today morning I had a couple of consultation calls. I have a couple of client calls after this too. Like I regularly monitor my clients, across different branches, taking feedback on how exactly the service is going on. And feedback is the most important thing, because an iPhone can be the same quality from here, or you buy it in Bangalore or Bombay or anything, but the same food will not be the same. You eat KFC from here, you eat KFC from different city, it will be different, because wherever there is a concept of human involved, human error, then your food is good. Food taste is going for a toss, and that person is not just going to say this dish is bad. He's going to say the brand is bad.
Yeah.
He's going to eat one sandwich, and if it is bad, he's just not going to say the sandwich was bad. He's going to say that homely fit is shit food. He's going to give that. And because when it is high emotions, when you are eating food, there's a lot of emotions involved in it. Emotions, however you spell it. Like you express ultimate joy if the food is good. Sometimes people even cry if the taste is really good. The same thing, if the taste is bad, they're going to express a lot of hatred, lot of negative reviews. So you have to have that gut feeling to take in it, because it's impossible for you to satisfy everyone. There are gonna be people who's gonna have problems with your food. You just have to take it ahead, and you gotta be like patient with it and keep going ahead, kind of thing.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, so just a general message you like to live here to everyone or anyone listening this.
Now, first of all, I would say that I live my life with this philosophy, and I feel that everyone, if incorporated, can give them a new thing to life. When was the last time you did something for the first time? So I like this statement. So when
Mhm.
was the last time you did something for the very first time? For example, even Lakshit would have started one day with his podcast. That would have been his first time.
Yeah.
So you just do new things every day, because you never really know when your life's going to end. So
Right.
the only thing I would take away from my life is do as many new things as possible. Like maybe learn something new today, cook something new today, talk to someone new today. Just do something new every day, because it's gonna make your life exciting. And the more exciting it is, the more happy you will be. So that's very simple as it can get.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. So, thank you very, very much for being here. A small crisp session, a lot of things to take away and learn. Thank you very much for sharing your work. Thank you very much for sharing your journey. And thank you very much again for being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lakshit, for having me.
My
Okay.
pleasure.
You're doing a
My
great
pleasure.
job. I know it's difficult to run a podcast, and I can see the amount of efforts you're putting in. And I just hope that you're going to become a big podcaster one day, and you'd be happy with what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Really means a lot. Thank you very much.